Next Gen fam, welcome. We are so excited to be here with you today. My name's Dylan, this is my partner Justin, and we are the co-founders of Next Gen HQ. We are coming to you live from New York City for a truly exciting event.
The next generation across the world, you know that we are here to support you with the resources, the education, the community you need to keep moving forward. And one of the best ways that we can do that is by partnering with organizations who can deliver that resource, that support to entrepreneurs everywhere. And we are pumped to be here in this absolutely beautiful new New York City tech hub with Mastercard. Now the Mastercard Start Path team, they've been doing some amazing work. We've partnered together for this Diversity in Fintech pitch competition. To introduce a little bit about what we're doing, I want to give it over to Jade from the Start Path team.
Thank you so much, guys. Hi, everyone. My name is Jade Watson, and I'm a member of the Mastercard Start Path team. Last year, Mastercard made a commitment through its In Solidarity efforts in order to close the racial wealth and opportunity gap. Today's conversation and pitch competition is an extension of those efforts in order to ensure underrepresented founders have access to products, services, and the global economy everywhere for everyone. We're elated to partner with Next Gen today and know that this will be a worthwhile experience. Best of luck to all of the founders pitching.
Thanks so much, Jade. We are honored to partner with Mastercard and the Start Path team to bring this to life. Now, for those teams participating today, we have quite the slate of prizes. You ready?
All right, y'all, we got the big three. All right, we have a fast track acceptance to the Start Path program. This is one of the best engagement programs. Oh my God, incredible. We have mentorship from the Mastercard team. They're gonna be here at the competition and afterwards, resources, product. And we have the top VCs in the world who are coming together to give you what you need. But I think I might be missing.
What about the $25,000 in prize money to do whatever you want for your business? We weren't gonna tell them about that? $25,000 for the winning teams. It's incredible. And if that doesn't get you stoked, we are joined by some of the leading venture investors in the world. We have Capital G, Black Tech Nation Ventures, Mendoza Ventures, Next Cubed, and Cowboy Ventures joining us here today.
Over the past few weeks, our judges have worked exclusively with these competition participants in order to refine their pitch and ensure that they're competition ready for today.
Next Gen fam, these judges are here thanks to Mastercard, thanks to Next Gen HQ, to support founders, get them in the game, and keep them moving forward. So we're pumped to hear their evaluations, and we're pumped to just find out the news hopefully soon.
My name is Kalani Jasmine. I am the founder and CEO of Black Tech Nation and also a general partner at Black Tech Nation Ventures. It's a $50 million national fund investing in Black and diverse entrepreneurs and startups. We are headquartered in Pittsburgh, but again, we invest nationally. And again, I'm just very excited to be here and see what's in store.
Hey everyone, Jackson George is here, VP of Business Development and Growth at Capital G, which is Alphabet or Google's independent growth equity fund. We invest in companies at the Series C stage, ideally. I'm really excited to be part of this today as well, so nice to meet you all.
Great to meet you all. I'm Jillian Williams. I am at Cowboy. We are a generalist fund, early stage, so pre-seed and seed, typically liking to be the first institutional round in. We typically like to lead rounds, and we're focused primarily on the US. Check size is anywhere from $500K to $3 million, and agnostic to the business.
Hey, I'm Adrian. I'm the GP and founder at Mendoza Ventures. We are a fintech-focused venture fund out of the Northeast, but we primarily invest in the early stage and the growth. We are usually invested across 3 different countries, 4 states in the US, primarily check sizes on our early stage fund from about $500K to $1 million, in the growth stage fund from 5 to 7. Thank you guys for having me, Malachi for doing all the work, and Chris for invite. Excited to do this with all of you guys.
Great, hi, yes, Marlon Evans. I'm the CEO of Next Cubed. We're a pre-seed, seed stage investor focused primarily on fintech and digital health, but we will invest outside of that industry. We also run a 4-month acceleration program. So we're both a startup accelerator and an investor based out of San Francisco and San Diego.
Thanks, judges. Now on to the pitches.
What would you do if you didn't know when you were going to get paid for the work that you do for a living? Would you still do it even if the world loved your work? Creators are forced to answer these tough questions every day. I'm James Jones, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bump by Owners. We help creator businesses get paid by tracking and collecting all of their revenue sources from streaming services and by providing them with micro advances to cover payout gaps and to increase their revenue. Creators have lost over $424 million in revenue because tracking and collecting revenue across multiple platforms is painfully difficult. Traditionally, creator businesses have applied for credit cards to cover lost revenue because they are easy to access. But credit cards are hard to get approved for with unstable revenue. And credit cards don't track and collect unstable revenue to help creator businesses get approved. As an award-winning tech entrepreneur and former entertainment lawyer, I have experienced the industry and its inefficiencies firsthand. Given the enormity of this problem, as well as the unique opportunity to solve it, we brought together a team of former Facebook and Amazon engineers, creators, and industry professionals. On Bump, creators connect accounts from all income sources. Next, our proprietary algorithms and AI analyzes the data and aggregates, tracks, and collects all of their revenue, and then recommends the microadvance amount to provide a creator business. Payback of the microadvances are tied to the creator's aggregated revenue source. Creator businesses use the revenue that we have collected for them to pay credit card bills, make purchases, and schedule automated payments. Our AI also recommends a monthly budget for creator businesses based on their aggregated revenue and microadvances. We make money by taking a 1% transaction fee for collecting all revenue on behalf of the creators and a 5% admin fee on the microadvances. Our business model and growth will help us capture a $21 billion obtainable market by bringing scalable financial access to creator businesses. We partnered with top agencies and companies, including Silicon Valley Bank, which can provide the facility for our microadvances. We have grown our revenue by over 2,000% from 2020 to 2021 year to date, and we have organically grown to thousands of creator businesses using our product. We have also received numerous awards and recognitions, including being named a top startup and being named finalists in Northwestern Mutual's and Morgan Stanley's pitch competitions. Our go-to-market strategy consists of primarily leveraging social media and email marketing to drive organic growth and retain users. And while our competitors have narrowed their focus to just credit cards in the music influencer vertical, our focus is on building a scalable end-to-end fintech solution for creator businesses and on expanding into other verticals to capture an even larger $5 trillion addressable market. We are backed by top VCs and angels and have received several term sheets. If we are fortunate to win this competition, we will use the capital to continue rolling out our products to 50 million creator businesses. We have the leadership, the team, great investors, and a passionate and growing customer base. Thank you, Mastercard, for joining us on this journey.
Hi, James. Thank you for that presentation.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for being a judge.
Of course. Yeah, so I guess like one question I'd have is, or these are kind of two related ones. One is like what types of creators? I think there's like the definition can be pretty broad, and it could be
Sure.
sort of gig workers and then actually like knowledge creators and whatnot. So like who exactly is at least our target customer today? And then what does that go to market and customer acquisition strategy look like?
Sure. What we've done is we've been hyper focused on, you're right, the creator economy is very broad, and the word creator is very broad. We focused on independent musicians. That's been our core focus, but musicians that are like sole proprietors or self-employed, right? So that's why we talk about it within the context of business. And with respect to the go-to-market strategy, we have primarily leveraged our partnerships with like agencies, with some labels that don't necessarily or are not in a position to sign some of the newer independent artists or don't want to sign artists. So we focus on targeting or leveraging our partnerships with the labels and with agencies like the City of LA, for example, as well as post on Facebook media, Facebook music groups, and social media. That's Twitter and also IG. So that's primarily what we've done to grow our user base so far.
Can you explain you take 1% from the creators and then 5%. Can you explain that whole part again?
Yeah, sure. So part of what we do for creators is we retrieve all of their revenue from different revenue sources, and then we present it to them. We say, look, here's the data and here's the analytics, as well as your actual money that we've been able to retrieve for you. So that value, the way that we present that value we charge a 1% admin fee on collecting that revenue and aggregating it and giving and providing it to the creators. And then the 5% admin fee is for any creator that wants to receive a micro advance to cover the gap between when they, for example, put songs out on Spotify or on streaming DSP, streaming services up until the time they actually start collecting. So we are able to collect their payments faster. But then if there's a payout gap and they want to apply for a micro advance, we charge a 5% admin fee on that. So total fee is 6%.
Yeah, of the current user base, how many are kind of taking advantage of that additional kind of 5% for the micro advance?
90%. So, and we have in the pipeline 30,000. So there are a lot of artists that want to receive a micro advance, and so it's a pretty large amount, 90%, and that amount grows. And what a lot of the creators do, a lot of the independent artists do, is they use it to like purchase equipment. They use it to do things that are necessary to continue to take their music and their art to the next level. So we're pretty excited about that part of it. Obviously, we're making money off of that too. So,
do you charge me the 1% once I decide I want to use your service? Or am I already, like, as soon as I put my income streams in there for you, I'm immediately being charged?
So the way it works is you're connecting all of your streaming accounts,
right?
And then once everything is connected, at the end of the onboarding process, there is an agreement that each creator has to e-sign, and part of that agreement is that you agree to. In exchange for us retrieving all of your revenue from different revenue sources, you agree to pay us 1%.
This is Adrian. What other financial products can you introduce, not just in sort of the gap lending, that you can sort of, with an active base, be able to build a bigger, more consistent revenue stream from them?
That's a great question. So one of the things that we're also looking at is providing like a virtual card. And the virtual card will be used to make purchases. For example, at like a guitar store, we're exploring maybe having a virtual card added to like Apple Pay or Samsung Pay, and then eventually providing like a physical card, that the creators can take into different stores. So we're looking at that angle. One of our concerns is because our mission is to provide tools and resources to creators worldwide. We don't want to be in the business of excessively charging them. And so, sometimes with credit cards, there may be excess fees, but that's one component in terms of like the virtual card that they can use to do their business. Another thing we're taking a look at is possibly the NFTs. So there's that's kind of like a buzzword right now, in the creator world. But another thing that we're taking a look at is a way for the creators to sell their digital assets on our platform, sort of like an auction setup. So that's another thing that we're taking a look at as a way to generate revenue for the artists. Again, keeping in line with our mission of providing tools and resources and different ways for creators to generate money.
I just wanted to know about your team a little more. Like, what's everyone's role? Who is everyone?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a co-founder and CEO. My other co-founder, he's a CTO. So he's actually, and he's not the CTO face. He's actually in the code base. He's actually coding. He's the one that's developed the platform. We also have our community lead, Trudy. She is a former A&R at Virgin Records. So she handles essentially the onboarding and the growth of the community of creators. And then we have Anthony. He's our CPO. So he's sort of setting the product vision. And so he's heavily involved in all the sprints week to week. And then we have a team of advisors. So we have VCs on our advisory board. We also have pretty much the who's who in the industry. We have Arabian Prince. He's the former. He's a the founding member of NWA, which is a Hall of Fame rap group. We have Chris Schwartz. He is the founder and CEO of Columbia Rough House Records. So he signed Lauryn Hill, Nas, DMX. So he's on our board. We also have Phoenix Red. He's the head of A&R over at Universal Music Group. He works heavily with a lot of artists within the Universal Music Group label. And so, one of the things that we wanted to do, and I can't forget about Nyjah. Nyjah is the VP of production over at Warner Brothers. So one of the things that we wanted to do was, surround ourselves with people that believed in, shifting and disrupting the landscape within the industry for the better. For years we've worked together, and we've identified and spotted these issues, and now was the time for us to act on it. And the creators are obviously they're receptive to our products and what we're building for them.
Unreal pitch. Well done, team. So much to be proud of. Congratulations to you.
Hi, my name is Michael Broughton, founder and CEO of Purge Credit. Before I begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about myself. I grew up in a pretty big family of 9, lived overseas for most of my life from 7 to 17, and even got to explore the world while living in what I would consider as a low-income family. We only have one person paying the bills in a 9-person household. Economics don't play out the best. I was luckily the first one in my family to actually go to college. I was accepted to USC. When I got in, unfortunately, I was $10,000 short on my tuition, and being from a low-income family and the first one to go to college, I had to figure out this problem by myself. I unfortunately was denied from every bank and financial institution for my first ever loan, simply because A, I was never exposed to the US credit system, but also B, I came from a family that couldn't support me. This almost led me to not going to university, but luckily after calling the university at least 300 times and them knowing me by first name, they paid off my first year tuition. Although I made a lucky break, the problem was really clear. There's no viable way for young adults to properly start building their credit. And the facts are in the numbers. There's over 45 million Americans in the US who are considered underbanked, or who we call the uncounted. People who don't have access to that first step of credit access. Regulations don't make this easier as well. Regulations have stated that you cannot actually start building credit without having a guarantor or a co-signer who can support you in making that first step. And of course, disadvantaged communities can't afford to go into debt to start building credit, or ironically, getting debt for financial opportunities. We figured out that the solution was Purge Credit, a free mobile app that allows people to build credit for free using their everyday expenses. The product divvies into 3 classes. A is around alternative data and building credit using your rent, utility, and phone bill payments. The second is what we call the Purge Card. It allows people to build credit using their subscription through Netflix, through Hulu, or Spotify, and connect them to a trade line that can start building your credit while using your everyday subscriptions. And lastly is financial literacy. We really focus on the importance of micro-learning and 1-minute long audio clips to teach people about stocks, investment, savings, and more. And all this comes together to help the user really graduate and increase access. And that's how Purge makes money. We are a completely free app and monetize off of what we call interchange. Every time someone swipes our Purge card to pay for their subscription, we're earning a piece of that off of market fees. We actually expected to launch this year and get 100,000 users by the end of the year. Luckily, in Q1 alone, people found our app and got really attached to it. We had over 160,000 downloads, had to throw up a wait list because the demand was too high, and ended up with 120,000 people on the wait list. We expect by end of year to have 70,000 users, $1 million recurring just off of interchange, and 250,000 downloads just off of iOS alone. This year, we also ended up in the top 10 on the finance charts for the App Store, surpassing Robinhood, Acorns, and a number of apps that actually compete with what we're doing. We've realized that the funds that we're taking right now are really to do 4 core things: to scale our product and team, to issue 100,000 Purge cards, convert a 120K waitlist, and see the $1 million recurring in interchange alone by end of year. This will allow us to explore so many more opportunities, like building credit by donating, creating savings accounts for our users, and more. We hope that we get Mastercards and the entire team's support on this mission and support your time today. Thank you.
Hey, Michael, can you explain the interchange revenue model?
Yeah, of course. So what we do is we allow people to pay for their everyday expenses, their recurring expenses on a virtual debit card that we provide in the app. This card is what we call the Perch card. It's tied to an interest-free line of credit, and that card itself earns interchange every time the card is utilized. What this allows us to do is we issue our cards to our users. They're paying for their Netflix, Hulu, or Spotify and building credit, and we're earning interchange by capturing that transaction fee between the user and the vendor.
Got it. And not to get too much in the weeds, but from an onboarding perspective, most of these users probably already had those existing accounts. So you're asking them to switch over from the credit card that they were using over to your Perch card.
Yeah, we actually go through the user's bank transactions and find those recurring expenses and tell them to plug in this card and they're good to go.
Okay, got it. Hey, congratulations, by the way, impressive growth.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's been a crazy year for us.
Yeah, that is impressive. And it actually kind of leads me to my question and thought. What do you think? So I was a little surprised because I feel like I've heard this before in a sense. And so for you all to be that high up, that is quite an accomplishment in relation to the other apps similar to yours. What do you think is the reason why your app stands out so much and is among the ranks of those types of apps?
We're very community driven. When we were building this app, we were probably the first one in the space 2 years ago to really figure out that people need to build credit for free. The way we went about it was starting with the bureaus, getting through the regulations, which took a year of due diligence, and then going to the community first. Our first ever investor actually was Jay-Z, which kind of helped a lot with the PR. But what really happened was if you type in Perch Credit on YouTube, there's hundreds of videos of people with 10, 20, 30 subscribers talking about Perch, the mission, the impact, and what it's done for them and their families. Having that directive and being community-based has led to this insane sustainable growth where people, like the everyday community, is promoting the app more than you're seeing Forbes or TechCrunch or stuff of the like that may be one and done.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, sort of maybe it's on that competition standpoint. Like, how do you think about yourself versus like Experian Boost or something that's kind of like provided by the credit bureaus today?
Yeah, so ironic about the bureaus is that they're competitive. So Experian Boost only works for your Experian score, meaning that you can't go get a credit product anywhere else unless they're looking at your Experian score. The same goes if TransUnion or Equifax provided a product as well. What they were looking for is a tri-bureau relationship, a product that sits outside of the bureaus that's reporting to all three and your FICO score that allows you to, really get an actual credit card financial product at a financial institution. That allows us to really actually be complementary to the bureaus. Experian Boost actually wanted to integrate into our product very early on. We said no because we didn't want to create that silo between the competition. But it was clear that this solution had to be outside of the bureaus.
Hey, Michael, how do you find another source of revenue outside of interchange? Interchange is traditionally 1%. You would have to be driving $100 million worth of transactions to get that $1 million in ARR. Can you walk me through that?
Yeah. So the interchange repeats month over month. So as the user's recurring these expenses, we're actually earning 1% month after month after month, meaning that we're actually getting 12% off the user overall year over year. We would have to fluctuate around 20 to 30 million in total projected volume to hit $1 million recurring by end of year. On the second point, interchange is an offset to a future opportunity. What we plan to pivot into is what we call subscription economy, where we become a Credit Karma rather than sending people to a credit card or predatory lending. We're sending them to new subscription opportunities. We're sending them to donation opportunities. We're sending them to community-led opportunities where you can help someone who can't pay for the Netflix pay for that bill as well. And controlling that transactional flow actually leads to a really big economy where we're proving that there's a new industry in what we call low dollar consumers and low dollar markets. Financial institutions want to play in the space. It's hard for Bank of America to lend to someone with $20 and no credit score. We prove that there's a fundamental practice to do that. So not only do we prove that there's a data pipeline that we end up selling to financial institutions, we're also proving on the consumer level that there's new opportunities to play in different sectors. Very similar to affiliate marketing, again, with Credit Karma, but instead on a friendlier route with subscriptions, your Netflix, your Hulu, your Spotify, et cetera.
Okay, so maybe I'm not understanding, but I have all of my subscriptions on my credit card and I build my credit, so what is the advantage are you taking from their actual debit accounts? Like maybe I'm just not understanding.
Yeah, about 90% of Americans pay for their subscriptions on a debit card. And most of this is because people can't get their first credit card. We are giving people new trade lines. Even if you were paying for all your subscriptions on a credit card, putting even half of your subscriptions on Perch is opening up a new trade line, and in return, building your credit. So it's really there's no wrong with using Perch. Anyone can benefit, but what we're really focused on is the miscounted, the 45 million Americans who don't even have that first card or that first financial product, very similar to me when I was trying to get into university. So that's really where we start our market in and take it from there.
Next Gen fam, that was a wow. I need a new job. We got to talk to Dylan. But after this, we got to get to the next pitch. So bringing him on, team, welcome to the stage.
Hi, my name is Danielle, and I want to show you the face of the unbanked. It's my grandmother who sold fruit to support her family in Haiti, and it's the 1.7 billion people who are unbanked globally. 350 million of the unbanked are in sub-Saharan Africa, and the majority of them are women. The banking systems in these cash-based economies often charge high fees that exclude low-income people from accessing financial services, and the solution is a central bank digital currency. We've developed the Just Pay Me AI-powered digital currency platform that unifies central banks to financial institutions to their customers. And so now central banks can mint and issue a digital currency just like they mint and issue their regular fiat currency, and then distribute them to financial institutions who then distribute the CBDC to their customers who transact on a digital wallet, and they can now make P2P payments and remittances or pay businesses all on the same platform. How does a CBDC make the unbanked bankable? Everyone gets access to a free digital wallet. They can deposit cash and transact with every person and every business in the country because it is legal tender. They can use the transaction data to then show their income and their expenses and then qualify for credit and loans. They can save on the platform and they can transact offline. Our business model is that we are a fintech for central banks. We develop their CBDC platforms. We also develop APIs so that financial institutions can link into the CBDC platform. And in phase 3, a direct-to-consumer digital wallet. We make money when central banks pay us to develop their CBDC platform, and we also charge an ongoing network fee. Why us? We are fit for purpose. We have specifically designed our CBDC solution for emerging economies that are cash-based and that have large amounts of unbanked population. We are cost-effective, we offer last-mile analytics and distribution, and we're designed for scale. Why now? 81 countries are now exploring a CBDC, and that represents over 90% of the global GDP. Our major milestone is that we are one of 4 companies selected by the Central Bank of Nigeria to pilot its CBDC, and we are one of 7 companies selected by the Central Bank of Haiti to pilot its CBDC. Our leadership team includes our CEO, who is a retail payments expert at the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. Our CTO is a full-stack developer, and I'm an international development expert. Our advisor is the CMO for MTN in Nigeria and has experience in launching $100 million startups. If we were to win, we would use the proceeds to fund our CBDC pilot for the Central Bank of Nigeria. Let's work together to transform the lives of millions globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. I think one of my questions is just around obviously working with central banks, and it sounds like, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like just given kind of your work with central banks, and there's like a number of different players that you kind of have to sell to within this process. So like, how hard is the sales process for you, and what does that look like in terms of timeline? And I would just assume there's probably like pretty high hurdles of trust that you need to get to with selling to central banks.
Sure. So it's definitely a long lead time, and each central bank is unique in terms of its process. So the first part is accessing the right people in their CBDC. Usually they have a committee to then get an opportunity to present to them. Some central banks have a more closed process. That was the case in Nigeria. In the Haiti process, it's also been a closed process. So you've had to have those contacts within the central bank to then say, well, we have a solution and we want you to hear it and let us know what you think. And so because of our contacts in Haiti and in Nigeria, we were able to participate in what was essentially a very closed process. In terms of lead time, it varies from bank to bank. So that's just, I think, part of dealing with emerging economy institutions, just being comfortable with that lead time.
So if I can piggyback, what is your timeline then? Like more specifically, because you do have these 3 big phases, I noticed, tackling a bunch of parts of this. So
we're focused on phase 1. And so when we approach an economy, we first focus on a central bank that already is exploring a CBDC. So we know that this is something that they're looking for. We're not trying to convince a central bank that, hey, this is a good idea for you. They're already convinced. And so we want to be able to develop that platform for them. If we are not successful in winning that contract, then we use the relationships that we've developed with those central banks to then say, okay, well, we know you need your existing financial institutions, mobile money, microfinance institutions, credit unions. We know you need your entire financial platform to then get onto this program. So then we approach and shift to more of a B2B solution in that we can create the APIs to then link those institutions into the underlying central bank digital currency platform so that they can then offer that to their customers in a very simple way.
Next Gen Fam, that was a total wow. I cannot wait to learn more about this organization and see how we can support and learn more about what they're up to. But we have other pitches to hear, so Next Gen Fam, come on to the stage.
Hi, I'm Tunde Alawo and I'm one of the co-founders of YSplit. Our mission is to build the first financial infrastructure for group payments. We started working on YSplit while in Y Combinator a year and a half ago. We launched the product 4 months ago and we've been growing 40% month over month. I'm looking forward to telling you all about our journey. 3 years ago, I met my co-founders while interning at Google and we shared a house together. We quickly realized how difficult it was to transact together in groups. I was responsible for paying for the utility bills and rent, and every month I would front the payment and have to get everyone to pay me back, and also resort to complicated spreadsheets to track how much I was owed. In fact, in the US, there were over $400 billion of group payments last year, and in every case, one person is fronting the bill for their groups and getting everyone to pay them back. At YSplit, we're on a mission to solve this problem, and we've started by building the first multiplayer bill pay app. I'll show you how it works. First, you select the type of bill you wish to share on YSplit. I'll be sharing my utility bills with my roommates. After entering my zip code, YSplit will show me all the utility bills in my area. I'm just going to select that now. I can now link these bills to YSplit. We've spent the last 8 months integrating over 9,000 billers covering every major utility, internet, and subscription services in the US. So when I enter my credentials, YSplit will verify my details and remain synced with my Spectrum account. I can now invite my roommates to the app. They'll get a text message on their end and instructions on how to finish onboarding. Now that all my bills have been linked to YSplit and I've invited my roommates, every month when my bills due, YSplit will automatically charge everyone their portion and then YSplit will pay for your bill. So I no longer need to front large amounts for my roommates, use spreadsheets to track how much I'm owed, or use any peer-to-peer payment apps like Venmo. Since launching, we've been growing 40% month over month and have 1,300 users. And we've also processed $2 million in bill payments so far. We also have an incredible retention of 80% after 3 months, compared to 37% of an average fintech app. And this is because we're targeting recurring bills. We're also the first to monetize group payments. When we charge everyone for their share and we pay for the bill, we pay for it using a YSplit issued card, which means we make up to 2% interchange fees from the merchant. We also make up to $15 from rent fees in the app. Just like PayPal, We plan to eventually build a group pay with Y-Split button to be embedded in travel sites, vacation rentals, food/grocery delivery, transportation services, and more, basically to bring the world to a multiplayer payment age. This is the team. We've been working together for the last 7 years on multiple projects in this space, and we're the best to solve the problem.
Tunde, how you doing? Question is obviously bill pay is the main reason why folks would use this, but is there I think I saw something in the beginning of your pitch around like vacations or something along those lines. Is it still around paying for vacations, saving for vacations, or can you just explain where vacations come?
I'm glad you asked because I didn't get to cover that in the product. So the first thing we targeted was recurring bill payments because we wanted to like get retention right on day one. But some of our users said, hey, it's great that I don't have to front my house bills anymore, but there's other things I have to front. For example, if I'm going on a vacation, I have to front the the Airbnb cost for everyone. So we essentially made a Y-Split card. And essentially before you pay with your Y-Split card, you can select who's going to get charged in the app. That could be your roommates, that could be your partner, that could be your friends. And then when you pay for it, everyone gets charged their share and then Y-Split pays for the bill. So for example, 2 weeks ago, I went on vacation with my partner and we just used the Y-Split card on everything. We booked our Airbnb with it, our flights with it, and every single meal that we went on. So we didn't have to track we didn't have to track each other, like any amount that we owed each other. We didn't have to use Venmo. We didn't have to send any money. We didn't have to talk about money essentially. So that's how we're solving that problem right now. But in the future, like I said in the pitch, we plan to build like a checkout button where if you're building a website like Airbnb or any other thing that groups would want to transact together, instead of you having to build your own like splitting functionality like Uber's had to done, you can essentially just embed a Y-Split button in there, like a split the checkout, and then groups can basically pay together at the checkout. And yeah, so that's the plan moving forward.
What happens when people don't pay? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So right now, firstly, that rarely ever happens. It's like 0.5% of the time right now that happens because we get notification of a bill 15 days before it's actually due. So everyone in the app has like 15 days to pay the bill, and most of our users are on auto pay. But in the case that someone doesn't pay the bill, the main person that used to pay the bill can essentially say, hey, worst case scenario, if no one pays, just charge me like you would normally have had to charge me. So in the worst case scenario that happens to 0.5% of our users, they'll end up fronting the bill for, let's say, one person in their house that failed to pay on time, as opposed to like fronting it for everyone. So that's basically the worst case scenario.
Probably happens anyway because people are paying bills.
So for everyone, yeah. But going off that, in the future, basically, we came across a stat that 54% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, but their bills are due all year, all months round, right? And we noticed that some of our users actually choose to pay their bill late and take on the late fees from from the utility providers, like 9%. So at some point, we basically want to do like a buy now, pay later kind of thing. So your bill's due, you don't have enough money to pay for it. Don't worry about it. Y-Split will pay for it, and then you can pay us back when you're actually paid for your salary. So that's like that. At some point, when we build that would also solve the problem of someone who was not able to pay their share because they don't have enough money, for example.
Thanks so much for giving it your all. We appreciate you. Incredible job. Next up, welcome to the stage.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ashton Keys, co-founder of Athletic, where we're giving brands the access to partner with the top student athletes in the world. The reason we're doing it is this quote right here. Sebastian Napier, point guard of the University of Connecticut, said that there was nights that he went to bed hungry right after winning the national championship. And if you didn't know, 86% of student athletes are actually considered to be living below the poverty line while playing at their institution. And not until July 1st, with the NCAA passing a massive groundbreaking law, none of them have the opportunity to make money for themselves. And even though they do have opportunity to make money for themselves, student athletes spend about 50 plus hours a week focusing on academics as well as their sport. And the marketers that want to work with them don't have a good way to find or vet the student athletes partnering with. So this is kind of how they're doing it. They're saying their DMs are open, they're tweeting or commenting on brands' page. And we both know that's just not the best way to make yourself marketable to brands or open to endorsement opportunities. So what we created is a fully integrated marketplace that simplifies and seamlessly helps those student athletes connect and manage their partnerships, but also automate that process for marketers to identify and vet the student athletes they want to work with. And athletes already use social media management tools at a massive scale. Influencer marketing is working, and it has been working for the last couple of years, where you're seeing every dollar spent get about $5 in return, as well as athletes actually have double the influence of a normal influencer. And it's been a crazy market size. We already seen the average spend about $900 on a student athlete. And over 2 weeks since NIL has opened, $1 million+ have already been spent, and they're still figuring out their strategies. And the crazy thing is 53% of the transactions have actually been athletes outside of football and basketball. Our product is simple. We give recommendations of athletes brands to work with, and brands have the opportunity to search, actually send deals to athletes, and they can accept, deny, counter, and negotiate all through the platform. And the payment is held in escrow until the deal is completed. We have a simple business model. We actually have a subscription fee for brands to get on the platform, as well as we take 20% commission on all deals facilitated through our platform. We adopt our athletes by using our athletes as the biggest influencer, also have sports media partnerships. And then from a brand perspective, we use referrals, sales leads, as well as targeted content marketing on platforms like LinkedIn. So as we have built a strong relationships with our administration at the university to support and promote our business. We have a ton of athletes, projected lottery picks, prep stars like the #1 recruit, All-Americans, as well as national championships using our platforms negotiating deals. And these are some of the deals that we've seen negotiated on our platform. The average is about 6 to 12 months, mostly social media, but we also seen appearances and commercials being facilitated through the platform. And our team is the perfect team to do that. I come from a product management background, working at Rocket Mortgage, consulting with Tesla, Rivian, and Amazon. And my partner has a deep sports partnership background, working for the Cleveland Cavaliers, as well as Rock Nation. And we have a ton of milestones, got investment from platforms like Cadillac and Mountain Dew, work with 600+ athletes, been in accelerators, as well as been featured in a ton of publications. So I'm excited to have you support us to change the lives of student athletes, their communities, and their family, and put money in their pocket. Thank you.
You take 20% of what? I didn't hear the revenue model.
Yeah, so we take 20% of the transaction facilitated on the platform. So that would be if a brand is, endorsing an athlete, we would take 20% of that transaction. That's actually very similar to when you think of professional agencies, as well as when you think of like Cameo, who was a great marketplace, they actually take 25% of all transactions. So it's very standard when you think of the professional or sports commission model.
Okay. Didn't know that's very high, but if it works,
yeah.
It works.
Yeah, I know. Like Cameo was I was very surprised that they got away with 25. We kind of stick with the industry standard, and we work with a lot of different agencies, and that's kind of where they sit.
And from a competition perspective, how are you guys kind of stacking up with like Open Doors and some of the other platforms that are surely coming along the way?
Yeah, that's a great question. For us, I think our biggest thing, and the biggest thing that we really focused on is, and I've had athletes that have used Open Doors, is really building that relationship with our athletes and providing value outside of just a transaction. So I don't know, the statistics just came out that the average deal volume, the median for Open Doors was about $35. And that's significantly low because a lot of the transaction that they're doing or working with brands is very static. So on our platform, you can actually negotiate deals. So anytime you get an offer, you can negotiate and counter. But we also have a calculator, what we call Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok calculator, to where we actually look into your profile to give you an idea of how much you could be worth based on your audience, your engagement, things of that nature. And that's the real key value, is not only just providing the experience of connecting and doing the platform, but also giving insight and education to how much you can be worth. The last thing is there's not many platforms in this space that look like us. Honestly, we're the only platform that is all African American, and that's really important for our athletes so that they can continue to really have people that care about them moving forward. And we're working with a couple of professional athletes that are really excited about the platform, and I think that can really push us forward to have that cultural relevance. I think that's the real key with space like this, where you're working with 18 to 20-year-olds. It's all about that cultural relevance and understanding what works. So we help a lot of the brands figure out their campaigns and not just facilitate them. We actually help them to think about, you should start to think about TikTok. You should start to go into Triller and use some of these dynamic new social media platforms that the athletes have influenced versus doing some traditional sports and corporate partnership, idealistic partnerships.
And sorry, just one more. How do you you mentioned the work with the brands, so there's the larger brands, the Cokes and the what have you. But how do you drill down into like the SMB world where a lot of these athletes are local heroes? They're not necessarily national, heroes. So how do you facilitate that type of interaction? Because that to me is where the real opportunity is.
That's where that's the best opportunity for sure. And so we kind of do a mix of both. Like obviously the big brands have the bucks and they spend money, but if you think about the majority of the athletes on our platform, that's not where they get the opportunity. So for us, the top brands that we work with is local restaurants, car dealerships, car washes, places that have an affinity to the university. And we literally, have a grassroots approach where we focus on, depending on where we have like the biggest regional affiliations to our platform, we focus on that. So we had a significant amount of athletes in Alabama. So we have a person on our team focused on that Alabama, Tuscaloosa area where he works outreaches to those brands and works on facilitating those deals. Then we have a specific amount of people at Auburn. So then we head to Auburn, and then we kind of move where our salespeople are kind of regional specific and focusing on those areas. But we also want to look into hiring people actually from those areas as we continue to scale up, because I think that's very valuable, especially like a former athlete.
Seems like you're kind of creating a two-way marketplace. And how do you make sure that sort of everything's coming through you and that like the middleman doesn't get cut out, especially with sort of like the 20% take rate?
Yeah, that's a great question too. And I think a lot of brands have actually talked about this when wanting to work with us. And I think the biggest thing is when you're dealing with compliance offices. So this is different than any other marketplace in the sense that you have to have oversight for the universities. And brand literally just said like they don't want to have to deal with having to make sure that an athlete is working with their compliance office, having to make sure that the deal is official or approved. And the other thing is it's about managing different people. So the thing with us is every deal is facilitated, it's held in escrow until it's completed, similar to a Fiverr model. So a lot of times, sometimes you pay up front and the deal doesn't get completed. Where I've actually seen that where an athlete, something get injured or something happens to where they have to reschedule it. And until you actually complete the deal, it's not something that's paid. But the biggest key right now is recommendations, but also that we directly, anytime a deal is facilitated, is sent directly to the compliance office of the university so that it is confirmed by them before anything is completed.
Hey, Ashton, walk me through like how many deals get rejected, how many deals get approved on your platform?
Yeah, I would say no deal has ever been officially rejected. It's always been approved or adjusted. So a perfect example is University of Alabama athlete. The brand wanted them to post a picture of them, wearing some product, but also wearing like he had like Alabama gear on. And of course, Alabama denied that immediately because you can't use it, university's IP or their logos or anything of that nature. So what happens is they come back, tell them that they can't use the picture, and then they just adjust to use a new picture. So only thing we personally have denied brands onto our platform, and that's because it was basically gambling. So anything that's in gambling, alcohol, or things of that nature can't be provided or promoted by student athletes. And all brands, before they actually get on the platform, we have a vetting process just to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's another layer of protection for athletes, is that we make sure they're eligible and they're promoting the right businesses.
You guys are really hands in to a lot of this. Who's doing this vetting and
vetting like businesses and things of that nature?
Just like all of the hands-on part of this transaction. You're vetting the brands, you're making sure the athletes are XYZ. Like, who's doing this on your team?
Well, I think it depending on what you're talking about. Like vetting businesses is more like as businesses come through, they obviously say what their industry they're in, and then that's just approve or deny. As far as like the working with compliance, that's not something that we do hands-on. That's actually digitally. So anytime a deal comes through, it's automatically sent to the compliance office. We have no hands-on aspect of that. As far as recommendations of how much you should make, that's also digitally. That's a calculator experience to where it just looks into you connecting your social media profile, and then puts out a number based on, the insights that we could pull from your digital presence. As far as like the helping brands and things of that nature, it all depends on the scale of the brand. So if it's a major retailer that we're working with that have over 1,000 stores, that wants to work with a plethora of athletes, obviously, you want to work with those people hands-on, because those are relationships that will help, scale your company, as well as the athletes that we kind of highlighted that will be professionals that have won national championship and things of that nature. You want to make sure you keep those people closer and work with them as you scale up. But it's a lot of stuff that's automated as well.
Okay.
So you mentioned, Alabama doesn't want the athletes in their clothing, but another university will, like University of Arkansas will say, no, I want them. So there is an opportunity, because they're going to then want a piece of that money because they're wearing the apparel. Have you thought about how you're going to think about, viewing the university as a customer as well, in addition to the other two parts of the marketplace?
Yeah, we've thought about that. And I know we've talked to a couple specific, I wouldn't call them agencies, but they kind of work in like the IP space. As far as that, from now, we haven't actually came into that problem, in a sense that most universities are kind of steered away, and they're still figuring out. The thing is, they're still figuring out. A couple universities have figured out, like I know Michigan, North Carolina, and other new schools have group licensing, things of that nature. But as far as seeing them as a customer in the sense of from like IP, we have explored that. Now actually seeing them as a customer in a sense of like forcing athletes to use our platform, we kind of want to steer away from that, because of, is a big concern about pay for play. So we don't want to be seen at the platform that is facilitating back end deals for up and coming high schoolers and things to drive to universities. But, partnerships for IP and things, we can explore that.
Unbelievable job, Next Gen fam. Wow, Justin and I, we got to give it up. Huge round of applause to every team that participated.
Next Gen fam, we're going to be back after a short intermission. So grab a bite, get some water. We're going to bring the Mastercard team because we're announcing the winners of the pitch competition. We'll see you right back.
Thanks so much for joining us today, everyone. And while our judges are making a very difficult decision right now, deliberating on who's going to win this amazing competition, we wanted to take a moment to talk to you about our new Start Path underrepresented programming. So I've brought in my amazing colleague, Chris Gillings, to learn more.
Thanks, Jade, and thank you everyone for joining. We hope you're enjoying the show. My name is Chris Gillings, and I lead the Start Path program for North America. We wanted to take the opportunity today to tell you a little bit more about our new programming for underrepresented founders. For the past 6 years, StartPath has focused on working with later stage startups. But we realized that many founders don't get the support that they need early on in their journey so that they can get to the stage that large companies like Mastercard really need them to be to partner. For that reason, we launched our new programming, specifically for Black, Indigenous, people of color, and female founding teams solving big problems in fintech. What this new programming will allow us to do is work with entrepreneurs at their earliest stages so that we can provide them the support that they need to get further down their journey. And so that's why we're here, hearing amazing pitches from amazing fintech founders of all backgrounds.
We're really excited to learn more about the solutions that these incredible founders are bringing to the stage today and even beyond in their daily activities. If you want to learn more about FinTech and MasterCard, visit startpath.com today. We'll see you there.
Next Gen fam, I know you're dying to know who is the winner of this Diversity in FinTech pitch competition, but DG and I, we can't do this alone. So who do we got?
We're bringing to the stage a senior executive from the MasterCard team who's going to help us share the information with you. Let's get them on stage.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Justin and Dylan. StartPath is delighted to partner with Next Gen to host this diversity in fintech pitch competition. There are so many companies building the future of digital commerce, and our finalists today are truly leading the way. So congratulations once again to all of you. Zimbali Networks, Perch Credit, Athletic, Y-Split, and Bump by Owners Technologies. And an additional round of thanks goes to our wonderful judges whose thoughtful questions, no doubt, kept all of you on your toes and helped us all think more critically about successfully launching and scaling a fintech company. So now, without further ado, I'm really pleased to announce the results of today's pitch competition. And in reverse order, in third place, please everybody put your hands together for Athletic. Congratulations to Ashton Keys and the team. This is a unique moment for student athletes across the United States, and I'm certain Athletic.io will help top performers on the field also succeed off field. In second place, in what was a nail biter as the judges deliberated, congratulations go to Bump by Owners Technologies. Well done to James Jones Jr. and the team. As the creator economy grows, your mission is more important than ever, and we look forward to seeing your success. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. The winner of the Diversity in Fintech Competition 2021 and the recipient of a $20,000 cash prize is Perch Credit. Way to go, Michael Broughton and the Perch team. At Mastercard, we absolutely share your belief that part of ensuring people thrive in the formal and digital economy is helping them to build credit. We're really excited to watch you grow and, of course, to see you at the next StartPath Selection Day. Thank you once again to all of our finalists and our judges and all of the Next Gen team for making this event a huge success. And thank you all for tuning in. The future of fintech is certainly bright.
Next Gen fam, what an incredible day, and congratulations once again to our winning teams. We know how much work went into these pitches and putting on this entire incredible event, so thank you so much to everyone who joined us.
Today is not possible, first and foremost, without the Mastercard StartPath team. We are grateful for you committing to stepping up for all founders, no matter who you are. Thanks to the judges who joined us, and thank you to you for tuning in and to our participants. You put yourself out there and you made it happen. We like to call that momentum.
Next Gen fam, if you're interested in driving the future of innovation, particularly in financial technology, you have to connect with the StartPath team. We're gonna be linking to their website, making sure that you can get in touch. And with that, Next Gen HQ, we just wanna say thank you so much again for joining us. Now that's momentum, and we hope to see you guys soon. Be well.
Much love, team.